Good evening and salutations, my Days of a Lives fans. So, we finally got the story. Okay, we finally got the story about what Chanel did. Chanel sits there and tell Allie about the professor that she met and how he practically seduced her, used his position of power, um, to seduce her and everything. And at the time, the dude had a wife. And long story short, they were supposed to meet at a place at a rooftop. And when Chanel got there, it was the wife. Now, the wife was bugging the hell out. Okay, let's just be honest. She called her a homewrecker. She called her this, that, and the third. And you can't have him. He's mine. Not that I loved him or anything like that. This dude to her was nothing more than a possession. So they fought. They were on the edge. And she went over. So this is classic self-defense and accidental death. Now, granted, this happened in London, right? In the United States, now, granted, these are like TV shows, so I mean, it's not like they really go by true laws and stuff like that. There is such a thing as, let me just get the name right, involuntary manslaughter. So that means, let's just sit there for the sake of argument, they were playing around and she fell and she hit her head on a coffee table or whatever, and she died. Technically, that's 5 years. Even if it was an accident, it's technically 5 years. But, you can also sit there and look at it as, well, an accident. The problem is, no one's there to see it. So she gets rushed down there, whatever, by campus security. She makes the confession, she signs it and everything like that. And on Paulina's side, because Paulina was like, "Oh, now you look familiar," and she realizes that you know it was the woman that Chanel accidentally killed, and so they both kind of tell these stories like side by side a little bit, and Paulina made it go away. Okay, she made it go away. She used her money, her influence to just make the whole thing go away. And so Sloane is upset because Sloane is like, yo, listen, she never paid for what she did. Now, of course, Paulina was like, well, she suffered enough. I'm like, I mean, she suffered enough. I mean, I get that it was bad on her, but a woman's dead, you know? And I get, oh, that's her daughter and everything like that. But Smith is saying, oh, well, she suffered enough. Well, if somebody is 6 feet underground because of her, so let's not sit there and say, oh, poor Chanel and everything like that. Like, this woman is dead and she didn't serve any jail time, nothing. Everything just went away and she just lived her life just being a party girl. Now, granted, she said this is the reason why she became a party girl is to kind of just get away from the pain and everything like that. But I'm like, I understand where Sloane is coming from. I get it. She used her money to sit there and just make the whole thing go away. And in a lot of ways, just kind of just totally just, disrespected her mother's death. So she's like, yo, listen, she's going to pay for it and so are you. And she walks off. I get both sides of it. And you can tell that Paulina did feel kind of bad because she understands where Sloane is coming from. You know, at the end of the day, that's her daughter. She's going to do anything and everything to protect her daughter. And unfortunately, that meant just sweeping Sloane's mother's death under the rug. And she says things like, well, Chanel, she went through enough. Now she's saying that from a mother's perspective. So I may not see where that's coming from because, well, I'm not a parent, I'm not a mother. but I can also look at it as being callous as well. So you got that going on. So Allie finally knows the truth. She's standing by her. She realized it was an accident, so she's gonna stand by her. Now, after Alex and Stephanie was kissing, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of felt like throwing up. Um, you know, Stephanie tells Alex why, in the beginning, excuse me, in the beginning she pushed him away so hard. Because the last dude that she was with did that same think those same things. Coming on too strong and everything like that. And then later on, she ghosted him. He ghosted her. And Alex talks about why, he was like that, like why he just was just a player and stuff like that because of his mother. His mother had a lot of bad. Well, after his mother and his dad split up, his mother just went from relationship to relationship, not really doing it out of love or she actually said to him that, love is like a trap and this, that, and the third. Just really gave him a bad taste in his mouth about love. And watching her just go from man to man to man to man to man, just, you know, no real feelings into it because she didn't have to worry about getting hurt. So he felt like that was the way to go, but also, he felt like she was kind of, well, miserable. Which makes me wonder. When the character first came in, he was all hugs and love and stuff like that with Justin. But after seeing his mother be so hurt and everything like that, you would think that Alex would have some sort of resentment towards Justin. I know people grow up and and everything like that, but you would sit there and think like, oh well, you just left us and you lived your happily life, and my mother was like suffering and hurting and stuff like that while you were just living a dream. You would think you would have some sort of resentment, but he doesn't. So just wondering about that, like, would have made a more better story. Now Kate is talking to Chad, and they're talking about Stephanie and how he had feelings for her, while she was kind of on her deathbed. But Chad is like, listen, I don't know if I'm ready to move on, and I don't want to sit there and keep her waiting. But Kate's like, Abby wouldn't want that. Abby would want you to find somebody new, and I just hope that you realize that before it's too late. Now, of course, Chad just need to talk about, oh, Stephanie's with Alex, and it would have been my first choice, but listen, we're friends, so I got to sit there and support her. I was like, well, yeah, I was like, well, I guess you do, really. I was like, technically you don't, but you don't want her, and she said, hey, listen, if you don't want me, I'm going out with Alex. Literally, she just. I don't even know if that was a good idea to sit there and do just to give him an ego boost by saying, well, since you don't want to go out with me, I'll go out with somebody else. It's like sitting there admitting to him that I'm going to use somebody else as a consolation prize because you don't want to go out with me. I just wouldn't give somebody that level of satisfaction. I wouldn't. Oh, and then apparently a couple years later, after he got fired and he went into a depression and stuff like that, and he practically drank himself to death, Paulina was like, never once did he take responsibility for what he did. This guy seemed like the typical classic scumbag that used his position to seduce a very young and impressionable girl. Meanwhile, cheating on his wife and gassing off Chanel's head, like, oh, well, I'm going to leave her for you, and we don't have anything except for the kids, and the kids are all gone, so, there's no love in our relationship. For Sloane, it's very difficult. And Paulina was saying that it's very difficult for her to hear because she just wants revenge. She'd been plotting this for like a good year when she found out and everything. Um, She was in Salem for like a good year. She had her name under a different name, so this way she would kind of keep under the radar to the right day to give maximum damage. And I'm like, you plotted this out. I give you that much. I give you that much. I mean, it's hard to sit there and talk logic and reasoning with someone who wants to avenge their mother's death, especially seeing how Chanel never really paid for her crime. Listen, I get it. This guy was a scumbag. This woman charged Adam. All she was sent there doing was fighting back. But at the end of the day, whether it was on purpose or accident, somebody's still dead, you know? And instead of really, taking responsibility for that, you allowed your mother to sit there and use her money and her influence and then decide to just, oh, I'm just going to party it up and live it up and stuff like that just to cope with the psychological trauma that she went through. Once again, not even bothering to take, well, take responsibility in her own mental health. She just partied it up like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, Sloane had to sit there and bury her mother. So again, I understand where Sloane is coming from. I was listening to this, I was like, I think that's about it. But of course it's not. Gabby came in there acting like a fool to step in. She came in there, she wanted Gabby Chic, and Stephanie was like, no, it's not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. We're keeping it, and that's the end of that. But she kept saying, I want it, I want it, I want it. She kept whining about it. At one point, she tries to hit him. I was like, yo, whoa, what are you doing? It's something I just never liked in soap operas. This whole slapping people. It's like, I get so angry, I'm just going to slap you. I'm like, sweetheart, I get that your brother is the commissioner, your brother is the commissioner, but like, that don't give you rights to sit there and put hands on people. Like, she just came in here just to act like a brat, to be honest. And she reminded me of when I didn't like her when I first started watching the show. That immature little attitude just came right back, just running rampant today. She walked in, she was like, yo, what's going on? Is everything alright? Like, Gabby was like, oh, I want Gabby Chic back. And Stephanie was like, listen, that's not going to happen. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, Shannon. I feel kind of bad for you, bro. You kind of stuck between a rock and a mirror at this point. That's pretty much what he said, more or less. Of course, Shen leaves because Shen got to sit there and try to find out where's his sister at. So he leaves, and Gabby continues to act like an annoying little brat that she is. Being really loud, obnoxious, taking phone calls while he's nifty trying to do work. They start pushing each other back. Well, actually, at this point, Stefan just had enough. He's like, he literally grabs her by the arm, like, yo, you gotta leave. Like, now. Now, what I'm surprised about is, I mean, granted, they had to do that so they can get close and they can look like they're about to kiss, but I'm like, Steph, in our reality, all he has to do is call security. She doesn't work there anymore. She has no reason to be there. Like, or she doesn't have, it's not so much that she has no reason to be there. But just call security, kick her out, and just be done with her. Like, why are you sitting there? You're stuck in the mirror. You got people working for you. So why are you bothering to get up to sit there and get this chick out? Just call security. Be a lot simpler. But of course, they had to get close to each other. Like, they were about to kiss because whatever. Now Johnny and Wendy gets to that place that I don't even remember, and they're looking for Rob. A couple of times that Johnny sniffed there walking around without a t-shirt because it's a soap opera and that's what they do. But eventually he does put on a t-shirt. They're looking for Rob, and Johnny realizes that most likely he's going to be working at a lab, and so he tells Wendy to sit there and look for any places that have like huge electricity bills because Rob's just going to be sitting there burning the midnight oil. You're going to need a lot of power. So they find where Rob is at, because they're like labs and stuff like that. Most likely he's going to be in a lab. So they find where Rob is at. Now, what they plan on doing is getting Wendy to wear wire while they're doing their little seductive dance and everything like that. Wendy's going to wear wire, and I guess it's going to sit there and try to talk to Roth or whatever and to fight. I'm not even really sure they're going to get Roth to admit what he did. And granted, that's not even the only. That's not even the only. That's not even the only. How do I sit there and word this? That's not the only kink in their plan, or at least in Johnny's plan, because even if Roth admits that Shin has something to do with it, I mean, do you really think that Wendy's going to sit there and betray her own brother? I mean, she literally said, unlike you, Johnny, I don't actually hate my brother. I don't actually hate Shen. And of course, Shen is not there looking for Wendy. So after hearing from Gabby that, Wendy has been staying with Ali, he goes to Ali's place, sees Alex. Now it's like, nope, she's not here, but I'll let you know. Now, Alex did sit there and give a look to Shen, like he had like some sort of bad vibe, some sort of bad aura. Like the way he was sitting there looking at him and like talking to him and stuff like that. Like even when he closed the door, he just seemed like he just like, I don't know. You just have that feeling, that vibe from someone where it's like they just don't feel right. Their energy, something about them is just not right. I feel like that's how Alex was sitting there looking. So Shannon's like, "Yo, listen, where's my sister at?" And towards the end of the episode, he finds out that Shen is at the exact, is in the exact area where Roth is. So now he's nervous. I'm pretty sure that he's going to find the first private jet that he can to get down there and to stop his little secret from being exposed. I feel like that's about it. I had to sit there and think the first time, and I'm not gonna lie, if I would have wound up doing this review and I would forgot about the Wendy, Johnny, Gabby, and Shin part, I would have been so disappointed in myself. I really would have. But I think that's pretty much about it. All in all, I would sit there and say this was an interesting episode. So if you didn't watch it, I would sit there and say watch it. It was good. It was good. It was decent. It was decent enough to sit there and watch. But with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.